Hello and welcome back to Raw Thoughts. Today I have Douglas Brock with us. He's been in the military for 19 years. He started his own company called Dope, which not the dope that you're thinking about. So explain to us some stuff about you.
All right. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So United States Air Force, 19 years. I'll hit 20 years in December. With kind of a versatile background. I've been through several different career fields in the Air Force, but several deployments. And then what kind of spurred this dope concept was from a deployment. And so just looking at everything I've done in the military, all my training experience, knowledge, and all this education stuff, I decided to kind of venture out into this business opportunity that just kind of came into itself, and I just wanted to see how far I can go with it. So Dope, daily outdoor packs for everyone, like Mackenzie said, not the dope that you're thinking of, which is also funny because I get that a lot. But it is it's a fanny pack company, straight up, or manny packs or waist packs, hip packs, whatever you want to call them.
And how on deployment did that spark your interest? Like, you don't look like the man. You're like, yeah, I'm going to make fanny packs.
Well, it was funny. So I was in East Africa, or the Horn of Africa, and I brought my own personal fanny pack with me that I've been wearing for a long time. And when you're downrange, you don't really have a place to keep all your crap on you, right? And it's great for, just the random accessories that you carry on yourself. And I started seeing other people wearing fanny packs too, and I was like, cool, whatever, like, not a big deal. But then over time, I started realizing that it was way more popular than I think I probably would have guessed, and that fanny packs were making a comeback for sure. So I went on. There was a very specific situation that took place, an event that happened, and if people had first aid kits on them during this event, it probably could have, saved certain things, or, I don't know. So I came up with this idea. I was like, well, what if I make a fanny pack that has the ability to be an IFAC, or an individual first aid kit? So when this event was over, I went back to where I was stationed in Africa, and I met with one of my parachute guys. Like, he's a seamstress for our parachutes and all that stuff. And I asked him, I was like, hey, do you have the ability to sew a fanny pack for me? And he straight up laughed at me. He's like, dude, no, I'm not doing a fanny pack for you. I'm like, come on, man, please. So after several days of trying to negotiate with this guy, and he ended up making this fanny pack for me. And as soon as he finished it, somebody else was like, yo, is that a fanny pack? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, cool, can you make me one? And then it turned into this production line of fanny packs. And I was like, that's it. I know this is a thing. And so the initial concept was making the fanny pack an individual first aid kit where you can keep a first aid kit on you. But just through some pivoting and just whatever, I decided just to make a basic fanny pack. So when I came home from Africa is when the whole thing kicked off in my mind. I was like, I'm really going to do this. I really want to see how far I can go and see how far I can push the envelope. And all it took was somebody to laugh in my face and tell me it's stupid, it's not going to work. And I said, you know what? That's all the motivation I needed.
Yeah.
And I got my LLC, got a manufacturer, raised some money, which is the stickers here, and hit the ground running. And now I make fanny packs and sell fanny packs.
This nice big tattooed military guy, and he's like, I sell fanny packs.
That's right. Be more curious, less judgmental. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I think it's great. I mean, and that's what sparked my interest. So listeners, I met this guy at a random restaurant. Right. I was actually celebrating my first recording, and I was like, you know what? Same thing, right? Somebody told me that's a really bad idea. You're not going to make it past episode 6, so have fun. And I said, well, here you go. Screw you. Here we're continuing to go. And how far can I push this? So he's sitting at a random table. Obviously, I had some drinks, and I walked out, and I was like, just stopped at the table, and it was you and your buddy.
That's right.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to tell you guys that, like, you guys are both beautiful humans. Like, you just like.
You were very, very forward. Yeah.
Yes, I was
awesome.
and that's just who I am. Like,
No,
I'm just going to tell you. And so I sat down and I was like, I don't need another drink. Please don't buy me a drink. But we just started talking. You started talking about your business. I started talking about my business, and the podcast didn't even actually come up. I was talking about real estate.
That's right.
And I literally went home that night, went onto your website and bought one because I was like, this is genius for how much I go hiking. You want to just have your stuff already in a pack.
That's right.
You don't want a full backpack. You know, and sometimes you don't need a full backpack, but you do. Being a previous paramedic, you always have certain things in your pack. You got your lights, you got, you know, your gloves, you got hand warmers, like all of the things that maybe I don't need, but if I came across a situation,
That's right.
could help you.
Yeah. And
your selling point to me was the buckle.
That's right.
So tell us about the buckle.
Yeah. You actually bring up a lot of really good points there. So here's the fanny pack, if you will. The buckle system on this is actually called a Cobra buckle system. Okay. But traditionally, the Cobra buckle system is metal, aluminum, and it's a little bit heavier. But they partnered with a company called ITW Nexus, and they made this buckle system that's 100% polymer. So it's incredibly lightweight, and it's incredibly quiet, which is nice, especially if you're, you know, an operator downrange and you want quiet gear or whatever. But the tensile weight on this thing holds 500 pounds. So this is an incredibly strong, durable buckle system, right? So this pack, just the belt system alone is incredibly durable, incredibly strong. So, and I love it because you never know what you're going to need this fanny pack for, right?
Right.
So, and to get a little bit more into the details here, but you have these carabiner anchor points that are also on the fanny pack on the left and the right of the main compartment, where you can no kidding clip a carabiner to it, and you can tie off dog leashes or whatever you want. Your drunk buddy at a bar, you don't want to lose them. I'm going to carabiner you. Yeah, that's 100% me, right? But like this system will hold an incredible amount of weight just based on the buckle, the belt, and these anchor points here. So I love it for that reason alone. Like, that's my main selling feature is this buckle system. And a lot of people are like, wow, it's pretty aggressive. But yeah, it's, made, for whatever you put it through.
Yeah. And I remember you talking about it in my mind. I'm thinking, okay, if you're in a situation and you need to haul somebody, you can make that, capable. If you need to make that into a tourniquet, you're able to do that. Just those little bits of technical pieces in a fanny pack where you're like, oh, okay, it's not just to carry my things, but it's functional too.
Right. And something that I've learned throughout my military career is to have a multi-purpose, piece of equipment. It's not just single use, it's multi-uses, right? So this fanny pack is multi-use. It's more than just a bag. You can literally tie this up to something, buckle it off to something, and you can, no kidding, drag somebody with it if you absolutely needed to. I don't recommend rappelling or doing what we call AIEs, air insertion or extraction techniques. This is not a rappelling belt. This is not a mountaineering belt. But in a pinch, if you absolutely needed to harness off to this, you probably could.
Yeah. In life-saving measurements.
You never know. And not that I've actually personally rappelled with this, but I would imagine with a 500-pound buckle system,
there you go,
it would hold.
There you go. So different sizes in those?
Yeah. There's we have a large and we have a small, and I'm all out of larges right now, so I only have the small belt system, which isn't terrible, but that's the only size that I have right now.
I think that's what I have.
It is what you have.
Yeah,
you have the small. I just have another run of 50 bags, all in one belt size this next time. It's all going to be enlarged this next time, and they're going to be done in about 2 weeks, hopefully. Online, ready for sale early June. We'll see.
So who are you finding buying these?
Most of my, I guess, customers right now are just people that I've networked through the military over the years. I've generated a pretty large following, I guess, if you will, on social media with
your dad jokes,
with my dad jokes, and just what I've done in the Air Force over the last number of years. Most of my customers have been military based, but there's been a number of other people here in the local area that love to buy it because they can take it out to the foothills and they can go walk and, carry, like you said, whatever you need just for your trail essential stuff. It's funny you mentioned like carrying a backpack, right? This is perfect for a multi-hour hike. Mm-hmm. Anything more than this, just wear a backpack. Like you don't need that much stuff on you, right? But this is large enough to carry all the essentials that you need on the trail. And the people that backpack or hike through these foothills, out in Camel's Back, Military Reserve, they're the ones that have been like drawn toward it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like how do you network around here to getting the word out? Is it just your social media?
That's
like, what's that business model look like?
Yeah, that's been my primary. It's Instagram. You got to use that because it's there and it's easy
and it's free.
Yeah, and it is free, right? A lot of it's been word of mouth, right? So I've networked with some organizations locally here, some vet programs, and they've done a great job helping me push my, I want to say my agenda, but help push my business. And just a word of mouth, it traveled like that, which is pretty amazing that there's so many people in the local area here that really are interested and like genuinely bought into the idea.
Yeah.
So that's generated a lot of, hits on the website and purchases and stuff like that.
And you've done a great job because you always are coming out with something else too.
I'm trying.
Your stickers, your t-shirts, I would say you do a really great job of interacting with people and getting their, making them feel like they're helping you design things of like, hey, should we do this, or should we do both of them? Or what's your thoughts? What's your opinions? And really bringing in what they say as feedback for you to grow.
Yeah, I definitely open it up to the public opinion. Like, this isn't just my idea. I want people to like it as well. Do I think my idea is great? Of course. But I want the customer, the consumer to also enjoy it and appreciate it. So which is why like on social media, I always put out these, what do you think? Does this look cool? Does this look cool? Or like, what do you want? Whatever. In fact, if you go on the website and give us some feedback, you get 10% off on your next purchase. Right? Yeah, right. But it is really about the consumer. I'm not going to just make something that I think makes sense for me. I want to make something that makes sense for everybody else. The stickers, the t-shirts, the hoodies, the beanies, that's just, stuff that I think people they would be interested in outside of just the pack.
Right.
But the stickers is actually how it all started with the fundraising and the financing of all this. Believe it or not, the sticker of that face right there is kind of what kicked this whole thing off. It's stupid. I know. It's super funny. But can I tell the story about that real quick?
Yes,
okay,
you absolutely can.
Because this shit cracks me up. And my friends are the ones that think about all this. So while I was in Africa, before this whole fanny pack thing really became an idea, I was designing our deployment shirts. And I know nothing about Photoshop, by the way. I am not that savvy in Photoshop. But I brought up my passport photo ID because I had no other picture to like really manipulate in Photoshop. And I was just playing around with all the features in there, and I turned my photo into this black and white picture of my face. And I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. I'm going to make that my Facebook profile picture because I'm an idiot. I'm a child, right?
Yeah.
And about 2 or 3 weeks later, I get a care package in the mail from my friends at home, and they sent me about, 200-300 stickers of my face.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with stickers of my own face? Like, this is ridiculous. And of course, they leave me a note in the package, just like, oh, we thought you would enjoy this, ha ha ha, whatever. And if you knew my friends, it's pretty funny, and if you knew me, it's even funnier. So what did I do? Is I started zapping everything with my sticker, and people finally came out like, hey, is that your face? And I'm like, yes, it is. And they're like, oh, can I get one? I'm like, you actually want a sticker of my face? Okay, whatever. And, maybe they're going to throw darts at it and they're going to shoot it. I don't know what they're going to do with it.
I mean, you're in the military. You don't know what they're going to do.
You have no idea. Well, that sticker ended up all over the place in East Africa, on airplanes in Europe, and it just started like literally just growing.
Wow.
Yeah, hilarious, right? And I'm getting pictures all the time on Instagram like, dude, your sticker is in Germany, your sticker is in Luxembourg, or your stickers, like whatever.
That's amazing though.
Pretty funny.
Like you get to be in all those places but not really be in all those places.
Exactly. And then I started getting a lot of really inappropriate pictures where my sticker was at, and that like absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. One dude decided to put it on his butt and take a picture and send it to me.
Yeah.
Super inappropriate, but I laughed. A couple other ones ended up in the toilet. Doesn't matter. But when I came home, I was like, well, how do I make money or generate some revenue to finance this production? It's like, well, I'm going to make stickers and sell them. And within a week, I made almost $1,000 just selling stickers.
Of your face.
Of my face.
And what does that what does that say?
That might either they love it or they hate it. I'm not sure. I have no idea. But it's I have a face for talk radio. We talked about this earlier. Yeah. But people were drawn to it. But I also really think that people were just drawn to the idea of what I wanted to create, and they were just trying to help support, which, like, to this day, I'm grateful for.
Absolutely. Yeah. What a small thing that your friends were just making a joke out of, and then you latched onto it and you're like, actually, I'm going to make money off of this. This is going to be my business. And it just it just made itself. You don't have to think about that. And I even saw your face in 10 Barrel. And I was like, what the heck? And sure enough, sent you a picture. I'm like, what are you doing? Watching me? Like, where are you? And he's like, I'm always watching you.
I'm always watching. I'm always around. Yeah, it is funny. Like, they're all over the place downtown, random road signs and bars and restaurants, whatever. I don't know.
How fun.
Yeah.
And you do. I mean, that's the mustache just totally makes it, ladies, he's single.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Yeah. I mean, so if you see that face, take a picture with it, send it his way, and we can see what kind of real business we can get for you.
That would be nice. Yeah, one of these days. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I don't even know how to follow up with that comment. Like, single life is very hard in Boise.
Yes.
It is. This is not the city to be single in, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, tell us more about that.
No way.
Do you think that's also, I mean, obviously you travel for work too, and so that's a mix of it, and you're doing a business, and you still want to live your own life and are very, travel savvy. And
oh yeah, there's a lot that's going on with me. I'm all over the place, literally and figuratively. I'm very hard to keep up with. Even for myself, it's hard to keep up with at times. I'm in the Air Force, but I'm in the National Guard here in Idaho. So I have my obligation to them. And then on the civilian side, I'm a government contractor and I work overseas. And so it's not very often that I'm home, so that does make personal life very difficult.
Right.
But to keep me busy is this side hustle, this outdoor packs for everyone, which has been great. And it keeps me engaged with people when I am home. But if I'm not going somewhere, I'm coming from somewhere, kind of a nonstop just cycle. So.
Right. And, I mean, within the mix of your military, aspect in living life, you're running all of this still while you're gone. And honestly, how do you manage all of that going on in your life?
Well, I guess we can get into some leadership philosophy, some, I don't know. I'm all about setting expectations, managing goals. But in the military, I was taught a long time ago that if you establish a goal, make sure they're called SMART, which I'm sure you're familiar with the SMART acronym, or maybe not. So
teach us.
Yeah, so SMART, simple, measurable, attainable, realistic, and establish a timeline. So that's the SMART goal setting philosophy that the military is taught, and they expect, or maybe not expect, but they, they teach that method. So and I took that seriously. And there's a lot of things that the military has taught me that, mottos or creeds or whatever that are more than just words to me. They're actually like a guide or a path. And so I took the SMART philosophy very seriously. And I do establish, I'd like to refer to them as SMART goals, but I use, I have 5-meter goals, 25-meter goals, and 200-meter goals. That's how I do everything that I do. So everything, there's a short goal, there's a medium goal, and there's a long-range goal. The long-range goal is the end goal expectation that I want to hit. The 5 and 25-meter goals is how I get to my 200-meter goal, right? So using the SMART philosophy, establishing my timelines, my goals, and expectation management helps me achieve, staying focused on my professional life, my military life, and then these hobbies of mine. But yeah, it's not easy, but that's the type of person I am. Like, I'm just constantly just moving, just constantly thinking, working all the time. But that's how I've always been.
You're just a go-getter.
I suppose. I don't know. I just can't sit still. ADHD, maybe. I don't know. I just never sit still.
It's just in your blood.
Yeah, something like that.
Keep going.
Yeah.
I want to speak on this because I think, I personally saw it. I personally knew it. And I think a lot of people can see, right? Like, you are a go-getter and you are going and doing all these things. Plus, you have your military background. I want you to speak to the listeners a little bit more about your post that you made the other day, because I think a lot of people did see that. A lot of people, commented on those things, and it's a real topic of discussion of mental health and those aspects, and being able to come from, a man. Enlighten us on that a little bit.
All right. I'm actually glad you brought this up because this is a very important subject to me, is mental health, for those of you that aren't really tracking where we're going with this. And, 19 years, almost 20 years in the service, plus a lot of other things that I've done in the outside world, things have just compounded over years and years and years. I'm trying to figure out exactly what angle I want to take with this, but I think the biggest takeaway is it's a real thing. You're not alone. We all deal with something. But my recommendation to everybody, and I said this earlier, is just to be way more curious and less judgmental. You never know what's going on in people's lives. You don't know what their experiences are. You don't know where they come from. You don't know their background. You don't know why they are the way they are unless you ask the question and you engage and be present in people's lives. Hey, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while, I haven't talked to you in a while, or whatever the case may be, but you just reach out. You never know what kind of response you're going to get unless you ask.
Yeah.
So mental health for me has been a pretty big topic because of the things that I have experienced, the things that I've seen, the things that I've been through. And I'm trying to navigate my way through a lot of this. And I have reached out in the past for help, and I've been shut down. And talk about like struggling. That was the worst thing ever in my life. But the type of person that I am, if you look at like what we just talked about pushing through and staying busy and working on all these things, they've all been great distractions for me, but I'm not the type of person that's going to just give up and just lay down and end it, right? There are far more important things that matter to me in this world. And, if I can just encourage people to stay focused on whatever your goals are, your passions are, your ambitions, your friends and your family, and, be there for others. And, I don't know. It's just, I can just rabbit hole this all day long, but
go for it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. But you got to do something about it. At a certain point, you got to just take action to figure out what these issues are, and just don't expect them to go away on their own, because most of the time they don't. And I've been dealing with my mental health stuff for a long time, and they just don't go away.
Yeah.
They're always there. But there are ways for me to counteract a lot of these mental health issues. I don't know, starting my own business, whatever, mountain biking, going trail hiking, whatever the case may be, a hobby or some sort of distraction, but that you get, that dopamine dump, you get, the feel good vibes. Your endorphins going, whatever it is. I encourage people to just not give up and keep going and just, I don't know, do something new. Another part of the reason why I started this fanny pack thing is, you never know what your potential is until you really put yourself out there and push the envelope. And I've never started a business before, and so why not? Let's do it. See how far I can go. And that was a way for me to, I guess, kind of like circumvent or overcome a lot of these mental health problems.
Yeah.
Was to distract myself from what was going on. Let's focus on something new that's going to give me, I don't know, some joy, something that I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
But, there was a lot of response to that post. a lot of responses.
Yeah.
And it was about 2 days that my phone didn't shut up. And that was almost kind of annoying, to be honest, but it was really, really refreshing to see that people genuinely cared. Like I said in the post, it almost restored my faith in humanity. We got a long way to go for that. We got a long way to go. Just a little bit. But it was
just
nice.
Like one little pebble.
Yeah, but it was nice to see that people care. So don't ever forget that. People do care. Yeah. Like legitimately care.
Yeah. So when you reached out, you spoke about reaching out and nothing happened. Was it you reaching out within the military? Was it reaching out to that friend? How did you reach out and get, kind of shut down with asking for that help?
That is, if I ended up telling the story, it would throw a lot of negative light on certain, I don't know, people or organizations, and I'm not interested in.
That's totally fine.
Yeah. But the background, if I can just kind of like throw the bullet points out there, was I was exhibiting signs of, no kidding, I have a fucking problem. Mm-hmm. And I asked for help, or I was on the verge of like breaking down and losing it. And the individual walked away. And it was just like, that's enough. I'm done. So packed my bags, left work, went home. And it was I was in a dark place for a while. But to kind of turn that dark story into a positive was there was a number of friends that are in the local area that reached out and literally grabbed me by the hand and said, we're going outside. We're going to go do this. We're going to go do that. And they changed my perspective on a lot of things, and they brought me out of that dark place. So it was life-saving and phenomenal. Friends and family, I'm telling you, you can't replace them.
Yeah. And I think with that, sometimes you need to tell them you're not in a good place, or you're not in a good situation, or, hey, I am in a rut right now, and being able to ask upon them. And I think that's where a lot of people with mental health, or, even without knowing that they have depression or anxiety or bipolar, any of those signs or symptoms or PTSD, people don't like asking for help.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You talk to an alpha male like me and some,
and
other
that's
dudes.
why I ask you about it, because it's like you did ask for help, and
you gotta be vulnerable. You have to accept vulnerability. It's okay. Like, if people are gonna judge you because you're reaching out for help, then that's their problem. That's not your problem.
Right.
So, but it is not easy to reach out and ask for help. It's not.
No.
That's probably the biggest challenge when people are struggling, is they're afraid of, I don't know, the recourse, or they're afraid of judgment, or they're afraid of people, I don't know.
The labels, the stigma.
Yeah, exactly. All that. And they just don't want to be a part of that, right? Which I totally get. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? You got a problem. Own it, accept it, fix it.
Absolutely.
Reach
out. And I think that's the part. Like, take the action.
Yeah.
Know that there's a problem. Know that there's a situation you need to work on, and move through it instead of pushing it down, because that's only going to make it worse. And I'm not the best at that.
Oh yeah, me neither.
Same thing. I mean, just, you always talk about childhood trauma, then you go into being first responder, being, military, and then you add on that trauma. And then you don't have the resources to work through it, or know the tools to work through it.
That's right.
And I think that's the biggest hurdle getting over, is like, how do we get these tools for people? How do we get taking that stigma down, taking that label off of people, and saying, we're fucking humans. Mm-hmm. Shit happens. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect.
That's absolutely right.
But we're figuring life out along the way. And what I can help with you, or you can help somebody else in a very similar situation, like, we're getting there. We're taking another step. Like you said, like one little more pebble of good human faith with people.
Yeah, as soon as you start cross-talking, sharing information, it's amazing what other like resources all of a sudden present themselves.
Yeah.
I don't have the answers to everything. And most people don't, whether they realize, whether they want to accept that or not. Most people don't have the answers to everything. but there's a lot of know-it-alls out there on social media for sure. But there are people out there that will give you the information, but you have to ask for it.
Yeah.
You got to put yourself out there. You got to let your guard down. Sorry. It's not easy, but you got to do it.
Yeah. So with still working in the military and working with, a lot of people, networking a lot of people, do you talk about any of that, or do you see signs with other people and you try to relate or bring up your experience?
Yeah. Especially in my role in the military as a senior enlisted folk. It's kind of one of my obligations. I mean, not obligations. It's one of my responsibilities is to identify that kind of stuff, right? And because a lot of my younger airmen, younger enlisted folk, they're not gonna come out there and say something. So I have to be attentive and I have to be present and I have to be engaged. Recently, I just went through a school, and we actually talked a lot about mental health from very senior enlisted advisors in the Air Force, and their message was, you got to get in your people's chili. You have to get in their chili. You have to know what's going on with their personal life. You are their supervisors, you're their mentors, you're their coaches, whatever, their leaders. You need to know your people. KYP, know your people. And sometimes you have to have those uncomfortable talks. You just do.
Yeah.
But these are the people that you rely on to get the job done, and vice versa. They rely on you to be there for them. So it's, as a senior leader, you're like navigating, the mission objectives, but then also trying to lead your people and manage your resources. And that's very difficult because those younger folk, they have to just worry about getting the job done.
Yeah.
You have to now worry about all your people and worry about all of the other stuff that comes with that. But I'm not opposed to sharing my story with anybody, because there's somebody else out there that could be like, I can relate to that. Holy shit, what did you do? And that has happened. I've been fortunate enough to be through several speaking engagements over the last couple of years with Air Force folks and actually other joint services as well, and share stories about certain, experiences. And but without sharing those experiences, how do you know what resources are available, like you mentioned earlier, or what avenues or what steps to take to correct a lot of this? I don't know. It's there's a large network of folks out there, professionally, in the military or even the civilian world. I mean, civilians aren't exempt from this either, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter. I think the biggest thing is you have to find a group of people that you trust and that you're comfortable with, that you can share your story with and reach out to.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to talk about, because it is, from the civilian world, you're the perfect example of what somebody is supposed to look like or to be tailored to, and they're not supposed to have problems, or they're just man up to it, and I just really give you so much kudos to posting that on social media and saying, hey, like, I was in a dark place, but this is what I'm doing, acknowledging what has happened, but saying, hey, this is how I'm going to get out of it, having an action plan, and getting through it with the help of others and leaning on them to then also be that for other people when they need it. I think it's a give and take. Yeah. And a lot of people just want to take and never want to give. And that's not going to work in any realm of life.
Yeah.
That's maybe a leech, right? Leeches do that, and that's
right.
about it. But I think just that stigma and you being able to be vulnerable on this and talking to the listeners of this, like, I just want to say thank you for that. Absolutely. For being vulnerable.
Yeah. And if it's one person I can get through, that is the difference I'd like to make. I've actually gotten more joy out of the amount of responses I've gotten, because people have decided to open up to me. And I don't know these people, like random people on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, that have hit me up after this, and they're just like, yo, thank you, I also have a problem. And I'm like, well, shit, let's talk about it, dude.
Yeah.
I don't even know this person, but I've gotten a lot of joy out of that for whatever reason. So yeah, like, stop. It's a two-way, two-way road. For as much as, like you said, you want to just take, you also got to give too. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So with on a lighter note, let's get on a lighter note for you because you like the humor. You like the humor. What's the next steps to pushing the envelope for dope?
I thought about a calendar strictly of me just butt naked with the fanny pack on. I'm not really sure how that's going to go. I'm totally kidding.
It's like the fireman calendars, but it's just Douglas.
Yeah, that's it. It's just me, and it's the same pose like Zoolander, just nonstop. Although I'm pretty sure that would be frowned upon considering my obligations to the United States military. I don't think that would go over very well. So
maybe when you retire, that can be your retirement gift.
Oh, I can't wait.
When's that gonna be?
Who knows? I'm going to stay in as long as I can. I absolutely love serving. I love being a part of this country, in the capacity that I work in. But so we'll see how long that is. Who knows? But what's next for dope? I've got 50 more bags on the way. Like I said, early June, and I've got 2 or 3 other bags in design right now that I'm working on. So we'll see.
Spill any details?
One is. I'm trying to focus on a concealed carry. I'm trying to figure out a way that makes it simple, because there's a lot of concealed carry bags out there now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I want to get creative with it. So I'm just kind of working on that, tinkering around with that. There's another one that is going to be specific to, it's called E&E, Evade and Escape. And that's going to be like your IFAC or your first aid kit, and it's going to have some other survival stuff in there. But then I also want to make a no kidding, like luggage bag. So we'll see. I'm trying to figure out how to crack that nut. But
are you ever going to make a backpack too? I mean, I would still take a backpack, even though we talk about the fanny packs.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to also look at the competitive business aspect. There's so many bag companies out there. And who am I? I'm just making another fanny pack, right? And in my opinion, it's significantly better than all the other ones out there. But unbiased opinion. But no,
I'll say it's pretty good. Besides the one factor of ruining my leggings.
Well,
from the material.
I don't have to tell you about that. There's got to be a way to fix this backside for sure. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I got to talk to my manufacturer. But there are more bags on the way.
Cool.
Hopefully. But you also got to remember that I'm personally financing this whole thing, and that is not cheap. Especially with inflation, that has made cost materials and shipping and all that stuff very expensive. So,
do you think, at what point would you bring somebody else on to help you with this, or to grow your business, or who could be able to come in and invest with you? Or
I have no idea. I'll be honest. I have not thought that far because I'm constantly traveling. I'm constantly moving all over the places, doing whatever I'm doing. I can only put so much into this personally. But I'm not going to ask somebody else to just come in and help out right now. Sure, if you want to be an investor, by all means, let's talk.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm at the infancy stages. My company is less than a year old. I hit a year in this summer, and so there's just a lot of growing that I want to do, and just some foundational things that I want to accomplish before I really start diving deep into this. When I can start focusing more than 50% of my time. Sure, I'd start taking it more seriously with asking partners to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just had a question that just completely lost my mind.
That's okay. I've been there.
You just know how to talk through it.
Yeah. You were going to ask me about dad jokes or something.
Okay. Yes. No. Yes. Go with it.
No.
So followers, you need to go and follow him on social media, and you have a YouTube, right?
I do, but the YouTube I rarely use. I just started the YouTube for the dope outdoor packs.
Okay. So you can find some more information from there.
Yep.
But you also
on my personal page.
Yeah, on your personal page. How did you come up? You're not a dad. You don't have a dad body.
No, thanks. Appreciate that. Although, right now my dad bod is pretty sexy. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Okay, tell us how'd you come up with dad jokes? Why do you tell them?
So, this is years and years and years in the making. My old man, my dad, he's been a joke teller for as long as I can remember, right? And so it didn't take long for the apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
And I followed his footsteps, and he would come home from work and he would tell me jokes that he heard And then I'd go to school the next day and I'd repeat them all. And then I'd find myself in the principal's office and this and that and yada, yada, yada. You can imagine what kind of jokes the old man would tell me. And to this day, I still tell some of them. They're hilarious. Anyways, point being, over years and years and years of this happening, it just became a thing that I did, telling jokes. A lot of my friends are like, how come you never turned into a comedian? I'm like, what are you talking about? I am a comedian. And so one year, about, almost 5 years ago now, two of my best friends from home, husband and wife, they got me a Christmas present, and it was a dad joke calendar. And I was like, oh, this is great, thanks. Like, no, you're going to love it. And I'm like, no, this is kind of silly. Like, what am I going to do with it? I don't care. Well, I put it on my my counter, and like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days into the year, I came up with this idea. I was like, oh, you know what's going to be really funny is that I tell the dad joke calendar every day for the rest of the year on Instagram. Why not?
Yeah.
And so I got like a week or two into it. My buddy, he hits me up. He's like, dude, how long is this going to go on for? And I was like, the rest of the year. You sent me an entire calendar. Like, how am I, like, I can't just stop. He was like,
people are invested in it
yeah,
now.
he was like, you're really going to tell a dad joke every day for the rest of the year? I was like, well, yeah, you sent me an entire year calendar. Of course I am. And it's been 4 years. Now, I haven't told the joke every day for the last 4 years, but it did turn into this weird following. It did turn into this, tell us and where's your dad joke, this and that, and yada, yada, yada. And so I just started telling dad jokes on Instagram with the dad joke calendar. So I will tell you that these aren't my jokes. So I take no credit for how terrible they are. Absolutely zero credit. But kind of the what I did with it, I'd tell the dad joke, and I would just go on my own little rant about the dad joke for the next, 20 or 30 seconds or whatever. Sometimes throwing in some cool little tidbits about, this day in history or some cool little informative pieces or whatever. And it just kind of took off running. So
it sounds like your friends are very supportive of who you are as a person and play into a lot of this.
Yeah, my friends are probably the number one reason where, why I've ended up where I'm at.
That's
100%.
amazing.
They're yeah.
So you say back home. Where's back home then?
Bay Area, California. Can I say that on this? I know, right?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I born and raised.
We welcome. I tell you, Idahoans, you need to welcome the people from other places.
Yeah, you're welcome for the village, and you're welcome for a lot of other things that's built on California money. But I will say that it's hard to say because I came here to get away from a lot of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just the way things go. That's how life happens, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. But yeah, born and raised in the East Bay of California, and I left to go to school in San Diego when I was 17, joined the service when I was 19. So I've been out of California for a while.
And you knew, from a little kid, did you know you were going into the military, or like what
kind of, sort of, kind of, yeah. So I was always a kid that would run around in camouflage and play hide and go seek and, dress like Rambo, whatever. Yeah, I didn't know that was going to turn into a career. I just thought that's what I was supposed to do as a 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old kid. And I think it was my junior year of high school. One of the Air Force recruiters came in and talked to us. And I grew up playing soccer. I don't know if you could tell with this amazing dad bod that we're talking about right now. But I used to be quite the athlete when I was a young man. And I asked the recruiter, I was like, well, can I play soccer in the Air Force? And of course, yeah, sure you can. It's like, well, I'm sold. I can go do this. Well, I decided to go to college first to see if that was going to work out for me. And a 17-year-old living in San Diego did not work out well. I played college soccer for the first semester and spent more time in the beach and at the bars as a 17, 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Tijuana, oh, man, I don't think I'm ever allowed to go back there. Yeah, so then 19 years old, I found myself stripping off to boot camp. So.
And was it almost an escape from the college, or like, I need to get my life figured out? Yes,
the latter. I had no discipline, no direction, no guidance. I really thought that I just could figure it all out on my own when I moved to San Diego and tried to go to college, and boy, did that backfire. Like, reality kicked me in the face really hard, and it was an eye-opening experience. And so when I struggled with college, I was like, okay, well, this isn't for me right now. I need some, no kidding, discipline and direction. And that's why I joined the service, and probably saved my life. The best decision I've probably ever made in my entire life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're going strong with it. I mean, like you said, you want to retire from that and keep chugging along as far as you can.
And ended up going back to college and getting my degrees. And then my master's. So it all worked out.
What'd you get your master's in?
Just business, MBA. Yeah, nothing crazy.
So you know how to run this. I mean,
okay. There's going to school and learning business, and then there's actually running a business. And it can only prepare you for so much. So don't get me wrong, I did learn a lot, but running it, I'm learning even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's those things that they can't teach you in college, or, they just give you an outline of things. And I think people have this perspective of college that you're going to go to college and get all your answers, or all your questions answered, and you're going to be this perfect person. But there's college and there's reality.
That's right.
And those are two different things.
Totally different things.
They're not even close.
No. They can't teach you on, I don't know. I won't get into it, but.
Well, they don't teach you on like this experiences, right? Like I love to be talking with people. Obviously, that's why I started this podcast, and being able to video it was because that enlightens me in life, of hearing other people's stories and being generally curious of how you're living, like how you're living your life compared to how I'm living my life. Because what I learn, I only know from what I've been surrounded by.
That's right.
So if you start expanding that and connecting with other things that are different than what you were raised on, or the culture that you've been around, or where you've lived, that's life to me personally.
Yeah.
And college doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't always give that perspective of it.
Yeah. Is there a college class out there? Maybe there is. I have no idea. But is there a college class out there that actually teaches you how to sit down in a room one-on-one with somebody and just have an open conversation about stuff? Public speaking, I guess, is where I'm getting at, right? Being comfortable to express yourself, your emotions, your feelings, being comfortable to speak intelligently on whatever it is that you're trying to talk about. And to me, it just seems just so, I don't know, I don't want to call it like regimented, because that almost is hypocritical with the military, but like it is like, you're going to learn this curriculum, you're going to learn it this way because the professor is teaching it that way.
Right.
But do they actually teach you this interpersonal skill, that, I don't know, does?
I mean, I would say some. I think being a psychology major, there was a handful of different classes that taught you a lot about that. But there's always ways that you can get around that, even if you're working in groups. Like college teaches you to be on time, which obviously I did not learn well. I still do not learn well on that part.
Yeah.
How to work in groups, how to talk with, leadership, how you need to talk with different, peers, and then your professor, and then how you go to, the next person up or what have you. But they don't tell you to sit down and like be curious about people, or ask them how their day is, or I don't know, help them out in whatever way that they can. No, there's not college classes on that.
Yeah. That's
life, and that's learning from other people. And I think generally being curious about other humans. Yeah,
for sure. You just made me think of something, going back to this mental health thing. You just queued up a thought that I had was, if you're going to ask somebody how they're doing, be prepared for their answer.
Yeah.
It's people are just so comfortable with like, hey, how you doing? And they just like walk by each other. If you're going to ask somebody how they're doing, you better be ready for their response. Yeah. Because it's not always going to be, things are fine or things are good. And you better be able to take on the response, or you better be able to take on what they say and then help them out.
Yeah. And be genuine.
Be genuine.
If you're going to ask somebody like, hey, how are you doing? Like, no, truly, how are you doing? Because I think it is so, like, hey, how's your day going? Oh, good, whatever. Because a lot of people aren't vulnerable in saying like, oh no, my day has been shit. Mm-hmm. This is what's going on. I don't have time for this. I don't have the energy for this. And we don't speak on our true emotions sometimes, or our true, perspectives. But if you're going to ask somebody how they're doing, be freaking genuine.
Yeah.
And if you're not, don't ask.
That's what I was just going to say. If you don't want to help somebody out or be ready for their answer, then don't ask them.
Yeah.
Just don't.
I mean, I would much rather somebody not ask me, honestly, how I'm doing, when things are shitty, versus somebody being like, oh, how are you doing? And I tell them and then blank, no response. It's like, honestly, now, I think in your situation that you just recently had, like, now I've told you things are not good and you have now not done anything to help me.
Right.
And if you're going to ask me how things are going and I tell you truthfully, at least say something back.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey, I'm really sorry that you're going through this. Let me know how I can help.
Yep.
Pretty simple.
Yep. Yeah.
And sometimes, I mean, yeah, I definitely get into, I struggle with anxiety. I struggle with depression. I do get into those, low lows with depression and even taking medication. But sometimes it's somebody just being genuine to be like, how are things? Like, they're fucking shit, to tell you the truth. Like, am I still working through it? Am I still progressing? Absolutely. But I'm going to be truthful to you when I say, no, it's a struggle to get out of bed right now. It's a struggle to make these appointments, Am I going to still do it? Absolutely, because I know that I need to do that. But that doesn't change the fact that it's fucking hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I have no shame in just telling it how it is. If you're going to ask me, I'm going to fucking tell you.
Yeah.
But be ready for the response. I don't know. I think it's just so, hey, how you doing? What's going on? And they just, whatever. And it's just a conversational piece or whatever. But maybe somebody is actually waiting for somebody to ask them how they're doing. Mm-hmm. And that response is going to be powerful.
Yeah. I remember there was an article of a gentleman that was looking to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge.
I know exactly what story you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know if I am or not. There's probably been millions.
There's probably been multiple, but this gentleman, I remember this story. This gentleman, was about ready to climb over, and there was actually a family that came up and said, "Hey, can you take this picture of us?" Like, didn't try stopping him of what was happening. Just said, "Hey, can you take a picture of us?"
Okay, not the story I was thinking of. Wow, that's incredible.
And sure enough, he took the photo. But they didn't say anything to him. Like, hey, thank you, whatever. And he still ended up jumping. But he survived.
Wow.
Yes. There's been multiple people that have jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and survived.
Yeah.
And exactly what he said. He's like, I just wish somebody would have stopped and asked me how I was doing.
Wow. Wow.
Like,
I just got goosebumps.
Is life really that busy?
Oh, I don't know. I guess it depends. I don't know. It's perspective based. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that, to be honest. Maybe it is. I joke with people all the time about, because you asked me earlier, how do I get all this done? And I'm doing this and that. And I'm like, I don't know. We all have the same amount of time in the day. We all do. It's time management, and it's just setting the expectation or setting realistic goals. I don't know. Is it really that busy? But who am I to say? I'm a single man with no kids, no pets, and I have a fake succulent. So I don't. That's
what you have to attend to.
Yeah, and I don't even need to give that thing attention, So I'm, it's perspective. Is life busy? Maybe it is for some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe we do need to slow down a little bit more and truly ask people how they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So many people are just, there's so much white noise or distraction, things going around them all the time that they lose sight on taking that moment, those 5 seconds. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like an elevator is a perfect example. You're sitting, how many people talk to each other on an elevator?
Well, I do. Because I'm the awkward one.
Yeah, okay, fair. I don't know, but that's a perfect opportunity where you just have, granted, you're not going to ask them just random stranger,
right.
I get it, but sure, you're going to see somebody that you recognize, or maybe you know them from something. What's wrong with just engaging and having conversation, saying what's up?
Yeah. Give them a compliment. That's the best way to start a conversation.
Yeah.
Shit, that's what I started a conversation with you and your buddy. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, I'm just going to tell you, you guys are both very handsome. That was a random, like in an elevator. Hey, I really like your shoes. Where'd you get those?
Yeah, your Crocs are awesome.
Yeah, there you go.
By the way, I love Crocs.
But it's that engagement part. Engage in other people and they will engage in you.
Yeah.
And it's this two-way street like you talked about.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's all somebody needs. Whatever. Or hey, that's a pretty dope fanny pack. Where did you get that fanny pack?
There you go. All right. While we wrap up, actually, tell people where they can find you and get a dope
Yeah,
Fanny
so dope outdoor packs for everyone, daily outdoor packs for everyone. Visit us at www.dopeoutdoorpacks.com, and we're on Instagram at dope_outdoor packs. And you can check us out there, see all the cool swag, all the stuff we got.
How do they hear your dad jokes?
What's that?
How do they hear your
on
dad
my
jokes?
personal IG page, that is at Douglas_Brock, and you can see a lot of my stupid dad jokes from over the years.
And ladies, that's where you can go see him.
That's funny. Like we were joking about the questionnaire you had me fill out. Where can you find
Oh
me?
yeah.
The bars, dating apps. I don't know, wherever. I'm such an idiot.
That was hands down my best form that I've gotten from somebody coming
Really?
on to the podcast. Yes,
Yeah.
because it made me laugh. I was like, he's just stupid. Yes,
I am such a child.
And that's probably why you're single. But
That's 100%. I should say 100%. That's it's true.
All right. Well, listeners, thank you so much. Thank you, Douglas, for coming on here, being able to speak on so many different realms. Check out Dope Outdoor Packs. And I personally have one. It's phenomenal. Sounds like you have some stuff coming into the works. So reach out to him. If you would love to come onto the podcast, definitely hit me up on Instagram as well. And we're always taking host on. So that's very exciting. And thank you again for everything that we've spoken on today.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. We'll see you again.
Hopefully soon. I don't know, a couple months anyways.
Yeah. Couple months. We'll have you back on. And everybody stay tuned for that.
All right. Dope.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into the show today. Your feedback is very important to me. If you could leave a review, as well as follow me on Instagram at rawthoughts.podcast and email in at m.rawthoughts@gmail.com if you have any guest suggestions.